Welcome to If News. Hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you never miss a breaking story. In this week's news, we have the French developing an Espace force to rival the United States, a space force that was proposed by President Trump, the American Commander-in-Chief, directing the Pentagon to establish a sixth branch of the US military, a new Australian Bigfoot sighting with a family who are making the claim that they are regularly being harassed by a Yowie. Also, a ground-shaking story with a theory that we are about to see the Ring of Fire, the ring that encircles the Pacific Ocean and is a hotbed of volcanic and seismic activity, entering a period of increased activity. And this followed by another step toward a transhumanist future with Elon Musk and his new Neuralink. The final story is a quick cryptid sighting with people spotting a river monster in Germany. So let's get into it. The first story is that the French are joining the ever-increasing number of nations taking to the stars of late and setting up or claiming a part of the endless expanse for themselves. French President Macron has approved the creation of a space command fleet, this fleet stemming from the French Air Force. In a move that has become something we are seeing more of, the French leader spoke with the military and told them of his government's efforts to follow a renewed military doctrine. The governments of the world are having many parades and are ploughing more and more of their budgets into military spending. What do they see coming? French Defense Minister Florence Parly spoke last year on how she was committed to giving France a strategic space autonomy in the face of growing threats from other powers amid a race in space militarization. The French military spending for 2019 to 2025 has earmarked 3.6 billion euros for investment and the renewal of French satellites. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization, a treaty that has kept space an equal and open place for all nations, something I spoke about in the recent video about satellites, aims to recognize space as a domain of warfare this year. This is a very big change. By the year 2020, a year which has been earmarked by many nations as the year that these programs go live, will we see conflicts occurring above our heads? The next story is an Australian cryptid tale, with a family who are claiming that they are being terrorized by a rampaging Yowie. The Yowie is a cousin to the North American Bigfoot, and I have mentioned him in a couple of videos. Check the links above. The Gold Coast family claim that they've been experiencing frightening Yowie encounters since November. The report of the Australian cryptid came a week after bushwalkers snapped a picture of an unusual footprint in the local area. The Gold Coast family say that they are contemplating leaving the Currumbin Valley home after being harassed by the creature. The Currumbin Valley family claimed that the first sighting happened one Sunday evening about 9:30 p.m. when the mother was sitting on her back deck. Gold Coast Bulletin reported she heard loud noises in the bush, which she claimed were clear footsteps. "I moved to the railing to get a closer look, and there I saw it," she wrote to Australian Yowie Research. "As it was walking, I bumped something on the deck. The noise stopped it dead in its tracks. It turned from the waist, looked in our direction, and snorted loudly and quickly twice. It was huge. The woman then ran into the house and turned off all the lights. I just stood there staring out in pure terror, shaking and afraid. This massive thing was so close to the house," she wrote. "The creature returned the following night and made gorilla-like sounds," she said. The woman's husband and her two children have also seen the Yowie, according to her report. Their last encounter on Thursday, July 11th, saw a dog bowl being flung at the house, the woman said. The family's 10-year-old son is not allowed outside by himself because they're concerned about him becoming petrified again. Mr. Harrison, the man behind the Australian Yowie Research website, has dedicated his life to chasing Yowies after claiming he first came across the mythical beast in 1995. "I wanted answers," he previously told Daily Mail Australia, and he was determined to get them. Over the past 25 years, Mr. Harrison claims he has had several encounters with the ape-like creature, which are similar to the Sasquatch or Bigfoot of the United States. There have been thousands of reported sightings of the nocturnal creatures in Australia over the past century, he said. Dean Harrison from the Gold Coast has dedicated his life to chasing yowies since he first came across a beast in 1995. Australia has had thousands of yowie sightings over the past century. The Blue Mountains in New South Wales has a high number of yowie sightings, followed by the Sunshine and Gold Coasts in Queensland. Mr. Harrison was living at a rural property in Eagle Heights in southeast Queensland when he claims he first spotted one of these creatures. I came home and there was this thing in my backyard. It was massive and standing on 2 feet. It was growling as it was ripping out the foliage. Mr. Harrison was curious and considered grabbing a torch and going outside to investigate, but he was too scared. Instead, he locked the doors and watched from the window. Since this incident occurred, 2 decades have passed and Mr. Harrison has been searching for these creatures. He said, "We hear stories from all sorts. Doctors, lawyers, hardened people, big burly guys get in touch, truck drivers and that. They don't believe it, and then suddenly their world is changed." Mr. Harrison believes there are 2 types of yowie species in Australia. The larger stands at around 6 to 10 feet tall. The smaller species stands about 4 to 5 feet in height. The yowie is also known as the Australopithecine. It is believed to have walked to Australia from Asia on the land bridges during the last ice age. And talking of land bridges, could we soon see the geography of the planet shift in major ways? A new theory suggests that the recent spate of earthquakes are 3 times above what is normal. Michael Schneider writes, "Large earthquakes have been going off like firecrackers all along the Ring of Fire. A magnitude 6.1 quake just hit Japan, a magnitude 6.6 quake just hit Australia, and a magnitude 7.3 earthquake just hit Indonesia. This is a series of events that I recently took a look at and asked if it could be down to tectonic weapons or DEWs, direct energy weapons, or even HAARP. These recent earthquakes around the Pacific Ocean came just about a week after Southern California was hit by the 2 largest earthquakes the US state has experienced in over 2 decades. Looking at the entire planet, we have averaged 193 earthquakes of magnitude 1.5 or greater per day so far in 2019. This number is very high, but it pales in comparison to what was witnessed over the week that saw Japan, Australia, and Indonesia all hit. There were more than 677 earthquakes of magnitude 1.5 or greater per day. This means that the number of global earthquakes right now is more than 3 times above normal. The last 38 major quakes this year, going back to the 3rd of May, have occurred along the Pacific Ring of Fire. Our entire planet is being greatly shaken, and many believe that what we have witnessed so far is just the beginning. Let's hope that it's the beginning and not the end. Or if it is the end, maybe we can back our minds up using Elon Musk's latest creation. Elon Musk wants to insert Bluetooth-enabled implants into brains, claiming these devices will enable humans to become telepathic and even repair motor functions in people with injuries. Speaking on Tuesday, the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX said that his Neuralink device will be made of a tiny chip that will be connected to thousands of wires measuring just 1/10 of the width of a human hair. The chip features a USB-C port and connects via Bluetooth to a small computer worn over the ear and to a smartphone. Elon said, "If you're going to stick something in a brain, you want it not to be large." Musk obviously playing up to the device's diminutive size. Neuralink, a startup founded by Musk, says that the devices can be used by those seeking a memory boost or by stroke victims, cancer patients, quadriplegics, or others with congenital defects. The device will be installed by a robot built by the startup. Musk said the robot, when operated by a surgeon, will drill 2mm holes in a person's skull. The chip part of the device will plug the hole in the patient's skull. The interface to the chip is wireless. so you have no wires poking out of your head. That's very important, Musk added. Trials could start before the end of 2020, Musk said, likening the procedure to LASIK eye correction surgery, which requires local anesthetic. Musk has said that the latest project is an attempt to use artificial intelligence to have a positive effect on humanity. It seems humanity inches ever closer to a transhumanist future. One last story I wanted to squeeze in is a favorite of mine, a cryptid sighting. A river monster has been spotted in Germany. A man walking along the Elbe River in Germany was astounded when he spotted a large, snake-like creature emerge from the water. Witness, Torsten Koy, managed to snap a photo of the beast, which he described to German media outlet Tag24 as being several meters long. If one is drawn comparisons to the legendary monster of Scottish lore, you are not alone, as Koy marveled that he immediately thought Nessie when he first saw this oddity. According to him, the creature swam along the river a short time before disappearing beneath the surface of the water. While the unidentified aquatic anomaly was almost certainly not an ancient dinosaur that somehow survived until modern times, what it is exactly is still a mystery. Among the prosaic possibilities are an eel, a snake, a large fish, or possibly just some debris that briefly bobbed to the surface of the water as it floated down the river. Take a look at the picture and see if you can decipher what Koy photographed. So what did you think of this week's stories? Would you like me to look a little more deeply at any of these stories? Or was there any big news that I missed? Let me know in the comments below. As always, if you like what I do here on the channel, hit that red button, like and share. You can catch the latest by searching We Are If. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.